Hi.
Hey, Ere. Nice to meet you.
Same.
Mhm.
How should I tell your name? Is it Leela?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
Because in Estonia we pronounce every letter as we see. So we would say Leela in Estonia.
Ah,
That's why I
yeah.
was asking. Very beautiful name.
Yeah,
Sounds like
I was pronouncing your name as Era,
correctly. Yeah.
Era, but it's Ere, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Ere. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. In Estonia it's Ere, but it
Mm.
doesn't matter here. All is good.
So in Estonia, it's Era.
Yeah.
Okay, I was saying it
Yeah.
right then.
Yeah, yeah. It is very easy. If you just read every letter as you see, this is speaking Estonia, so it's very easy to speak Estonia.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard that English is the hardest language to learn. Mm.
yeah, and I have heard that the Estonian language is one of the difficulty to
Is
learn.
it?
Yeah, but yeah, it doesn't matter. But in that sense, it's easy when you're seeing the letters, then just pronounce the letters all out, and that's perfect. But with English, it's not like this. So
Yeah, it's complicated. Yeah, language is interesting now, fascinating. It's more like a paint medium now, just expression, uh,
yeah,
without inherent meaning.
exactly. Yeah, doesn't say
Mhm.
anything, but somehow point to this and this indescribable what we are talking about, this non-duality that you can't talk about. So
Yeah.
whenever I was hearing this message and was trying to understand this, but the English was so bad, so I gave up so quickly, and then I died. The one who tried to understand just disappeared, and
Yeah.
even now when I'm speaking, I don't know all the words even, but the sound or vibration or energy, so I can maybe sometimes speak some bullshit also. So whenever I say some weird word, just correct me, please.
Oh, you
Then I
sound
can learn.
great.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you speak it very well.
Mm. Yeah,
Uh,
but when I read English, then I get a little bit stuck because yeah, maybe because in Estonia I'm used to pronounce every letter, and then I start to overthink how to speak. Yeah.
yeah, sometimes we overthink things like that. Actually, I have a Southern accent here in America, um,
Mm.
like a redneck accent, but I guess people don't mind.
No, no, no. When you said that, now I heard it first time. So
Hmm.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, the first YouTube video I made, I tried to sound more northern, proper, and
Okay.
I wasn't able to do that.
Yeah, that comes out naturally.
I remember when the Seeking fell, it was about a year ago. I wanted to talk about it,
Mm.
because I felt like it wasn't what I thought it would be, you know,
Mm.
and I was inspired to share that. But there was a little bit of hesitation in how to speak about it because I felt I didn't want to say the wrong words, or say something that wasn't non-dual or uh, and there was an awkward period with words. And then I realized you can't say it correctly. You can't say it incorrectly,
Yeah, exactly.
So it just becomes fun.
Yeah, yeah. Fun game with words that doesn't mean anything, point to nothing. And yeah, it's like painting the picture
Hmm.
or trying to describe the picture where are, I don't know, a million different colors. It's impossible to describe the picture.
Yeah.
It's, yeah,
It
beautiful.
feels like a celebration of different perspectives. Um, it all feels valid to me, no matter what it is, and it's all innocent.
Mm, yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
No matter where it comes, is the apparent self talking or no one talking, it doesn't matter, there is no one talking. It's
Yeah,
just innocent appearance, this freedom, dancing freely as as feeling separated maybe.
yeah.
is this
Mhm.
too.
As a pure mystery, you know.
Yeah, mystery, absolutely.
Mhm. Yeah.
Can't be known, can't be had and owned and seen. And but yeah,
Yeah.
that's the trick. It's everything. But the seeker tries to get it, tries to understand this, and
Yeah.
preventing this, so to speak, because denying this isn't it yet. This sense of self have to go away. But this is it too. That's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
It does feel like a trick or a prank. It feels very
Mm,
playful after the fact, you know. Um, it's just I like to describe it as just seeing through thoughts, you know.
yeah.
They become more transparent and
Just thoughts, empty thoughts. No
mhm.
one having these, or yeah, because everything becomes empty.
Yeah.
Every story becomes empty. And even if there is applied some meaning, this meaning becomes also empty. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Or when going on with this story that you're telling is happening, or going into the story, getting lost into the story, it's
Mhm.
empty too. It's just what's happening. It's
Yeah.
beautiful play, however
Yeah.
it plays out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And meaning is always meaningless when it arises. And it feels like a child's play, you know,
Mm,
in a way.
exactly.
Who knew not knowing was so awe-inspiring and wonderful, right?
Mm,
Because
yeah.
we've been taught our whole lives that, you know, to put knowing on a pedestal and that it's a limitless tool, but it has limits. Mm.
Yeah. It's illusory. I'm just right now writing the book. I'm so into that.
Oh,
Every
nice.
morning I wake up, it's writing itself. It seems nonstop. I started writing when I died, so to speak, to
Mhm.
share this story, and then it stopped. Like here also, the beginning there was so much, I don't know, freeing energy that wanted to express that it's all free.
Mhm.
And then yeah, a couple of months later it became silent and
Mhm.
not wanting to talk and not wanting to share. No need, just silence, so beautiful. No words needed, nothing to say. But
Mhm.
somehow it carried on by itself. Of course, there's no choice to, I don't know, delete the channel or keep on going this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating watching the behavior of the apparent individual and you know, it still goes on. It still expresses. Um, Sometimes I'll want to write and make a video and I'll sit there and just wait and words will never come and and that's why I like to read other people's words too when words aren't coming here because
Yeah, you
there's just
can't force.
simply hmm yeah, yeah, there's just a simplicity here sometimes. Words just pop up out of nowhere when they do and sometimes I write them down, sometimes I don't, but
Mm. Yeah, same. Just seeing some picture and then words start to flow and I just write them to the notes, and there are many, many things that I haven't never published, or even some videos that I don't know, they just some new ideas are coming or nothing matters.
yeah,
It doesn't matter here. But somehow it's, yeah, playful, fun,
yeah,
to play these words with these words and express this indescribable
yeah,
nothing, which is everything.
yeah. It's very humbling not to be able to speak the truth, you know.
Yeah, what is the truth? Can't be known. Yeah, as you said somewhere, that truth, the only truth is there is no truth.
I love that. I say that all the time.
Yeah, yeah,
And you can you can also say the opposite, you know, there is only
truth.
truth.
Yeah,
When it comes out as a vibrating sound and a sensational aliveness, that's fully valid as that expression. Um,
yeah.
yeah, it feels very childlike, all of it. Like that was surprising for me. The seriousness kind of went away, and there's laughing at myself here, and the quirky awkwardness of these beautiful beings. It feels lighter that it's not claimed, though. It's impersonal. It's kind of like when you have money, it feels a certain way, but when it's somebody else's money, it feels a different way, you know. Or if it's your children, it feels different than other
Mm-hmm.
people's children.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the difference. It's just seeing that claiming is an assumption. It's literally nothing but a thought,
Mm-hmm.
a
Yeah.
very consistent thought.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It is. It is. This dream feels so real. Um, my phone is. I put it do not disturb. I forgot.
Mm. Yeah, I've enjoyed watching some of your videos. I've seen you before, even when I was seeking
Mm.
here and there. Yeah, I love the way you speak about this.
Like a child learning English, first language, like 5 years old. But yeah. Um,
Yeah, you sound great. You don't give yourself enough credit.
yeah,
Hmm.
maybe. Um, it's probably because here is more, and then it's like some block is there that you can't express.
Mm.
But at the end, it doesn't matter. It's always perfect. Even this nervousness that is arising when it's recording happening, then it's
Yeah,
like it's okay too.
yeah.
Although when there is someone separated and thinks that when this falls away, then these kind of things also falls away. When there is no one, then there is no one. There is
Hmm.
no nervousness, but nervousness can still arise,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's perfect too.
That really, I had to sit with that for a while because
Mm.
uh, I really didn't expect for nothing to change, you know. Um, nothing, I like to say nothing changes and everything is different. It's
Exactly.
paradoxical. The mind doesn't like that
Yeah,
necessarily, but um, it's a
I
really
think.
good way to describe it. Uh, Anything can arise,
Mhm.
you know.
That's the freedom, unconditional freedom. Yeah, the
Yeah,
pain, sadness, depression, I don't know, addiction. It's all allowed, so to speak.
yeah. It can be very intense.
Yeah, yeah, timeless,
Hmm.
whatever it is.
It seems like it's the emotions and even sticky thoughts when they arise now, it's just full on bam, and it's really quick, and then it's over immediately like it never happened. And there's no lingeringness about it, and there's no anticipation of when it will happen again, you know. So it feels kind of like a wild animal, you know. They're not thinking about their problems until they have an immediate problem.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, of course, as a seeker, I wanted emotions to be calm and serene, and I thought that's what I was working towards, and thoughts to calm down and not be neurotic and disturbing and things like
Hmm.
that. And of course, thoughts do what they do, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, and then there is constant resistance or trying to work or behave or be a certain kind of way to maintain this. It's yeah, there's no
Yeah,
doer.
yeah. It's just an innocent, already empty, grasping and averting. It's so innocent. I mean, of course, it would be that way. Um, according to our conditioning, but which is causeless, you know. Um, Everything is the cause of everything, so is one way to describe it.
Mm.
But yeah, that surprised me that this isn't about a calm mind or serene emotions. Although it is lighter, it is calmer, more neutral. Um,
Yeah,
I have to
because
say
there are
that.
no my problems that I need to resolve. There are no problems unless the mind says so. And there is no one believing what mind says because it's not my mind, it's not my knowing. It's totally empty.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing says suffering shouldn't be here
Yeah. What's wrong
whenever
with
I was
suffering?
right. Yeah.
And even when there is this resistance to this suffering or trying to escape from suffering, that's it too. No one doing
That's
this. Yeah,
yeah, that's it too.
yeah.
It's
But
kind of
see,
the last thing we suspect, when we're
yeah.
seeking. The
Mm.
last place you want to look. That's what I call it.
Yeah, yeah, nice. And yet you will never find this or you'll never see this. This is the end of the seer. And
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly not a happening. Um,
not the knowing, but it
yeah.
can sound as a knowing whenever there is a speaking about it happening. It's like sounds for the apparent knower that they must
hmm
know something.
Yeah, it does sound, well, that's the nature of language,
Mm-hmm.
which is all we have
Mm-hmm.
to express, but speakers sound very confident. They sound like they're saying something.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about something, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Which
Yeah, it's
is
literally
nothing.
not about it's not about any particular thing. Uh,
Mhm.
it's all inclusive of all of it.
Yeah, expression of this expressing itself.
Yeah. And even when we don't want to hear that, that's okay. That's it.
Mm. That's it too. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't
Saying,
need to believe what we are saying. It's not the believing.
oh yeah, yeah. Saying this isn't it is it.
Exactly.
And that's so funny. I mean, the joke never gets old. The cosmic joke.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's cool to laugh about it, but yeah, usually niece doesn't like this.
yeah.
It's joke,
Yeah.
they don't get it. And yeah, that's innocent too. This is how it seems like this separation protects itself from this.
Yeah.
It needs
Yeah.
to stay separate and to fight this to survive. It
Mhm.
seems to work this way, but of course no one isn't doing it. So when it falls by
Yeah.
grace.
Yeah. I like the word grace too. Yeah, I know what you mean. Um, it sounds like a happening. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
scared to talk about it as a happening because it's just gonna sound like that when you talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so the paradox is whole already. You know, it doesn't make sense, but this is nothing as everything. How can anyone understand that? Um,
Yeah, for the mind, it sounds as paradox, but I say that the paradox is that there is no paradox. But only
mm,
for this conceptual mind, this finite mind, who tries to box it and label it and understand it as it is concept, like it could be
yeah.
understood. I remember the shock here when it was like I don't know, some simple thing I tried like to know and I knew it and it was some kind of shock in this body mind system or when the control was falling away this illusory sense of I have a control and it was gone. It was like
hmm
big hole inside my stomach. Like somebody
mm,
have grabbed something very special from me, like I am a child and
yeah.
I have a favorite toy and it felt like
Yeah.
this vast emptiness.
It kind of felt like grieving for a little while. The idea of, I am, or the idea of control.
Mm.
Uh, I was like, what the hell did I sign up for,
Mm.
for a minute.
Mm.
Uh,
But yeah, you can share your story, how it happened there, so to speak.
okay.
I haven't heard, so and
Oh,
maybe.
okay. Yeah, I always struggled with depression and anxiety and mental illness in my life. Um, I think I'm a little ADD and autistic, and it can create um, anxiety just naturally. I always felt something was off, as a child that started to self-identify. Um, I couldn't put it in words, but now I can say that the idea of separation was very disturbing, and I was so self-conscious of people and how I appear. Um, so yeah, that was very severe, and I was suicidal for many years with the ideas of it, and just not wanting to be here,
Mm.
wanting it all to end, and uh, found like Eckhart Tolle and things like that. It was like 7 years ago about, and law of attraction and stuff like that. And I had a sort of initial awakening, is what I call it, where you start to suspect that you're not your thoughts and that there's a hack to the system. Like enlightenment is real. I started to believe that. And I was laser pointed focused. I was going to wake up if it was the last thing I did on this earth. So I went through a lot of esoteric stuff and new age stuff and went through all those phases and tried to understand the radical message. It was kind of offensive at first. I didn't like it. It made me feel uncomfortable um, because
I
it didn't
didn't
give
like
me
it
any.
too.
Mhm.
I didn't like it too. It was so frustrating for the system.
It didn't give me anything to do.
Mhm.
It didn't give me any control. And I was like, I feel like there's something there, but I'm just going to put it to the side and I'll come back later, maybe.
Hmm.
So I would go do practice-based teachers and teachings and meditate. I meditated a lot and uh, did self-inquiry almost constantly whenever I was aware to do it, conscious enough to do it, just while I'm doing the dishes and stuff like that. I would say, is that true? To thoughts that would come in my head. And more and more, it seemed like the answer was no, that's not true.
Hmm.
Uh, so it's just introspective, sort of becoming more and more open um, to the possibility that I'm full of shit. And I realized that I was trying trying to go to the mind to tell stories so that I wouldn't have to feel like the intensity of how the body can feel when it's triggered, which is just what we naturally do, innocently. So I tried to consciously, that this is a story, but tried to feel more and just be with the uncomfortableness without the thought. Um, and I started to recognize the nature of thoughts, which is empty, ephemeral, fleeting. It's just a sound, just a symbol. Um, so I would just say, that's a thought every time, you know. And eventually I saw the claiming thought, the one that was pretending to stand back and label, that's a thought, that's a thought. I saw that that was a thought. And it was kind of scary because I saw that there was no one here. It was only thoughts, f freely arising innocently as an expression of, this dramatic play. And it became simple and obvious that, of course, this is it. What else could it be? You know? Um, and I noticed that anything can still arise. All the ideas I had about what this would be like were not correct at all. And that inspired me to want to talk about it. I wanted to tell people it's not what you think. And yeah, I feel like there's
and,
been a
and it's
one
not
more
what you
thing.
want,
Huh?
and
Yeah.
it's not what you want.
Oh no, no. I could never have guessed it. I could never have wanted this. It's certainly no, it's not what I wanted. It feels like a Venus flytrap, or a moth to a flame, or a bug getting caught in a spider web or something like that. It does feel a little like a trick, but it's it's beautiful. I don't regret any of it. It's so beautiful to see this being in an impersonal way. Um, Even though it didn't give me anything I wanted, it's still there's compassion for this being and others. Um, and it's okay not to be okay. But there seems like there's been a deepening, I call it that, which is just like seeing that there's no right or wrong way more and more, you know, when things come up, and there's no correct way to talk about this. And it's still apparently being talked about here. So, and that's okay. Um, it feels like more like an all inclusivity now, uh, a, a union of the emptiness and the fullness together. So,
Yeah. So this so-called deepening, I would
mhm.
say that there is no one who can deepen,
Yeah.
or but there is no end. There is no final, and yeah, of course, it's constant free fall, and it's the same as deepening. It doesn't matter
Mm. Yeah.
which word to use. This
Mhm.
infinite free fall, constantly,
Yeah.
seemingly evolving. Like here, the language seems to evolve. The dictionary, maybe, I don't know, a couple of months using more fullness than, I don't know, some other word, oneness,
Mhm.
whatever,
Mhm.
whatever, or unconditional love, just to play with words, just to not get stuck with some word, and then who listen this, then it has own concepts about this, and tries to imagine this, but
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is not what you imagine this to be. This is the imagination happening.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not something that usually the me wants to have another better experience,
Hmm.
how he or she imagines this to be, as the, I don't know, enlightenment or liberation. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's all of it, nothing excluded. It's
Yeah.
so free, and that's the freedom. Like here, it was the, I don't know, burden or some heavy baggage was lifted when this happened, that I didn't even know that I was carrying, but there was this lightness, freedom. I don't know, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Freedom for no one.
yeah, and you mentioned mm, compassion, that you
Hmm.
have compassion and I want to share this. And when I noticed this, after this death, so to speak, that here was compassion arising, the same, to share this, and to listen these so-called seekers, and to share that this is already it, this is the freedom.
Hmm.
And at first it was confusion, when there's no one who having this compassion, and
Yeah.
then clicking that of course it's everything, it's all the colors of the rainbow, it's and the emotions and everything
Hmm.
just spontaneously arising.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the different characters have different flavors, so to speak.
Hmm.
Some are more compassionate than others, and
Hmm.
no one chooses to be this or that. And
Yeah, totally.
yeah, but when there is someone in present, so to speak, and there is some situation where this compassion should arise and it isn't, then it can feel like, why it's not arising? What's wrong
Mm,
with me? I am bad. All these kind of stories and believing this. But
yeah.
yeah, you are not making this happen. Whatever feeling is
Yeah.
arising.
Yeah. Yeah, you see that the apparent process goes on, uh, and there's no entity to do that or believe in that, and there never was. It was all effortless. Even the effort was
Mm,
effortless, and it continues to be. Um, it's just more recognized now, which is. I wrote down a quote that you said.
mm. I wrote down also something you have said. So okay.
Which reminds me of what I was talking about. You said, there is no awakened or unawakened person. Awakening happens inside the dream of I am. So, I love that because I say it too in a different way. I say, this is actually very practical. It's just a perspective shift, just a recognizing, um, which is part of the dream, like you said. Um, there's no difference between so-called awake and unawake. They're all both selfless already,
Mhm.
both
Yeah,
expressing
and
wildly as they do.
yeah, and this word awakening, I think people are also using it differently. So for
Mhm.
Era, it means something different maybe than for somebody else. But yeah,
Mhm.
here also this awakening happened like 2020, and I thought that I am awakened. So there was someone who got awakened from this dream, whatever. But this was like waking up into another dream. It was still a
Mhm.
dream. But yeah, this illusion of separation that we are talking about, when this is no more, then there is no one left to be enlightened or awakened or to be no one.
Mhm.
That this is the end of all this separation.
Yeah. When you see that there's no one here, you see that there's no one anywhere. There never was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Uh,
so clear.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I think I heard a quote, something like, when I woke up, the whole world woke up. I think that was a Buddha quote.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I said that right, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's beautiful to be able to intuit those meanings, or intuitions. It's hard to describe it because it isn't a knowing. So,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a feeling of, oh, I get it. I get what they were saying now.
Yeah,
Hmm.
resonance or energetically or I don't know, intuitively.
Hmm.
Yeah, sounds like home and the music.
Hmm. Yeah, it's fascinating. When before there was a rejecting of it, and a running around in circles to avoid it by seeking.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I, I told myself when I was seeking that I wanted this recognition more than anything,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but I was constantly avoiding seeing it by searching for it.
Mm-hmm.
That is so ironic.
Yeah, but
And
of course innocent too. No one was doing it, so no one to
mhm,
blame.
yeah, yeah. I usually use regular language. I say me, and
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't. So the way I speak really hasn't changed, but the underlying meaning of what I'm saying has changed. Um, when I say me and I'm not talking about an entity. I'm talking about a practical term, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like when you
Yeah.
say hand me the salt or whatever. It makes sense in the dream, to navigate. It's not pointing to an entity anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
already speaking is dualistic, so there is no escape from
Yeah,
that.
I love
So
that.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can't escape the stories. Why would you? Why would you want to? It feels like an epic drama just playing, for pure joy of expression, um, with all the ups and downs, um,
Mm.
the beautiful contrast of the polarities. I mean, we can't really know what we want unless we know what we don't want, It's just like you can't see the light of a candle when it's near the sun. It has to be in the shadows to see it. So I can appreciate the suffering for because it makes the
Mm.
expansion so much better,
Mm.
Of course, they're all states, and what we're speaking about is all the states. It's not a preferred state, a pinnacle state, a sustained state of transcendence or happiness or anything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not static and nothing stays. So yeah, it's not a state. And if it's only bliss, then how you would know it? When it's
Hmm.
only bliss, that is what is
Hmm.
usually longed for, or not longed for, but thought that maybe this is blissness or naturalness. Everything is neutral this way. But
Hmm.
yeah, no, it's everything, and that can be a disappointment.
Yeah. There was a disappointment here for a little bit, but it was also so much wonder and laughter and futility all at once. It was um, a little scary, you know,
Mm.
to for this to reorient or uh, to really, really see that nobody's driving. There's no one to drive. Um, and then there's a futility in that, a hopelessness, a despair almost, and a grieving that's so complete that there's nothing left to do, you know. So it's just the only thing that's left is this, the only thing that ever was, right? Uh, so it's just like the fog kind of lifts, nothing happens, and uh, and you're left with the miracle of not knowing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I remembered right now that I had one of the last thoughts was that uh, if there is no me, what I'm going to do then? like like it was really the worry. Who is living my life? Who is doing the choices? But it was already like it was falling away. It was clear that this is the end, and I don't know when it ends or how it ends, and it was frightening also, this unknowingness and still trying to grasp something.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then it was just total relaxation. But yeah, I remember that kind of thought. And
Yeah.
then of course it was silly and funny too to
Hmm.
just see how this mind
Hmm.
tries to still remain or control or hold on or manage. And
Yeah. It was very compelling, when the thoughts can be very convincing and compelling, and that's what we're used to, as an expression of
yeah,
this. And then when you start to see through the I am thought or the claiming mechanism as just an empty thought, uh, there was there was like a space and an energy that was not being used by that claiming, like more of an openness and being like, what do I do now? I'm not. I used to spend all my time and energy seeking,
and now
and
I'm left with nothing.
yeah, which is wonderful.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm thinking how others, so-called others, are hearing this, because forgetting that there are others who are listening this and trying to understand, and it can sound as insane.
Yeah. That's why I try to speak about this in the way I want to, but then I'll say sort of the opposite too, because it can be both. It's always both, neither, you know. And the mind wants to land somewhere. It wants a conclusion. It's a comfort blanket. It makes
Mm.
um, the illusory self feel like it has control, um, which is so innocent and valid as this, you know, already, already here, already no arrival. You can't arrive to where you never left, you know. Um, of course, it doesn't always feel great to seek and to feel like not complete. You
Mm.
need something to complete you.
Mm.
You need another object to complete you because you believe that you're an object. Um,
And the feeling of unworthiness that often comes with this mm,
yeah.
English word, scar of separation. I'm actually looking some other word, but I don't remember.
Scar is a good word. Um, maybe deep conditioning is probably what I would usually say. Um, but we don't know what this is. This could be in my opinion, this could be a material universe. This could be all in the mind of some cosmic being. I mean, I don't claim to know, but um, it's better as a mystery, you know. Uh, but whatever it is, there seems to be animals here. You know, there seems to be a lot going on, even though it's inherently meaningless. Um, and it's more free than any concept could ever fathom. It's wild, brutal, unconditional love. It
Mm.
doesn't see us. It doesn't see our beliefs of ourselves, you know. Um,
It even doesn't care about us.
and that can be a wonderful thing to realize. Of course, it depends on where you're coming from. It can be scary that, it can be fighting, why me? Um, as humans, we're blessed and cursed with this tool of imagination. And with it, we can imagine something better, you know, and it's a blessing and a curse.
Mm.
Um, we can become very neurotic naturally. Of course, no one's doing any of it. It's just like a tree grows and bears fruit, and the fruit falls, and um, identifying with thoughts makes as much sense as identifying with the tree in your yard. You know, of course, it's understandable why we do. It's very convincing, very convincing. Uh, thoughts are tricky. They told me one day I will wake up. And that thought was there a lot when I was seeking. And it protected me from this immediacy, this obviousness and simplicity and unspecialness, ordinariness, um, which is a miracle when you really look at it without knowing what it is.
It's beautiful. I remember this when Ere died and everything was seen as first time. Although I was already living here 8 years, but I saw all the trees, the birds, grass, everything like first time,
Yeah.
and not as a knowing, as a label. It was so immediate. It was, yeah, it is beautiful, and I was like constantly high on life. Didn't consume anything, and yeah,
Hmm.
but it happens so uniquely, yeah, for everybody. So I often avoid talking about this, how it happened here, when
Mm.
I'm talking with or talking about this, just not to paint the picture that the
Oh,
seeker
yeah.
now tries to relive it or imagine this way. Because yeah, I have an example here. My husband, partner, it was completely different for him. So there was nothing, no bright colors like it was here. It was like literally, I thought that my eyes are now fixed. I have a little bit, they don't see so well, and colors became very very bright. So when you're talking like this, and then somebody who's listening, then it waits when the colors goes
Hmm.
bright. Like somebody described that walls started to leave and dance,
Yeah.
and then people are waiting when they see
Yeah.
this happening, when there is no borders and everything is, I don't know, crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it can be so silent, so unrecognizable, in that sense that literally nothing changes. But if the body mind system somehow operates differently, then this is what's happening. Like you said, like you had the grieving moment. Here was no grieving. It was
Hmm.
like no one ever had anything, and
Yeah.
all the blame and guilt and all this weight was gone, and also the pride or prize that I have done something, or I have been good person,
Hmm.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
was gone. I didn't have anything, and I didn't lose
Yeah.
anything. But in this process of dying, it felt like fuck, I'm losing everything.
Hmm.
What's going to be left? Because yeah,
Hmm.
the believings, they within a couple of months it happened noticeably, that
Mm.
all the beliefs and this the seeming process of dying. But of course, that's ironical. Again, you're talking about like this is something that is happening, and that there is a
Yeah.
process and something leads to this.
Yeah.
Somehow when it's done, when there is no sense of self, when there is no separation, it's seen there never was and nothing happened. This sounds so paradoxical. It doesn't
Hmm.
sound like yeah, that the
Yeah.
mind can't grasp this. It's crazy.
Yeah. It tries to understand, just like with any other thing we've ever experienced. We go to school, we learn, we want to
Yeah, that's a
know.
function. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we watch YouTube tutorials when we need to fix something or
Yeah.
cook something. It's the only context we have. So we assume that that's what this is going to be like. I'll just understand, and implement these tools to awaken myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, of course, we would see it that way. And the mind, the seeking mind, it's going to grasp on the concepts. You know, I try when I speak about my experience, I try to say this is just my experience. Um, and these are only my limited words that can only try to point. They're not, it's not in the words, you know. It's not
Mm-hmm.
it's not
Yeah.
in any certain rhetoric. It's not the words, this is it. Um, and I don't see that. To me, when I look back at the seeking journey, it was so perfect. It wasn't fun. It was painful psychologically. It was very confusing and disorienting, but I see it as a beautifully perfect from here. And
Mm-hmm.
and in that way, I don't feel the need to teach anyone anything or wake anybody up, or uh, all of it is valid. The belief in right and wrong is gone. I can't, there's no entertaining that anymore. So as far as I'm concerned, this is just freedom dancing.
Mm-hmm.
You're, I see that you are perfect where you are. It may not feel great, but that's it. That's it too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. And then there's love and compassion, um, for that person. I remember how it feels, and And I just see how innocent it is. It's overwhelmingly beautiful sometimes. I'll start crying just all the time. I have a tissue box here, just tears just come and
So beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
My partners started to cry a lot when this happened, and just looking to nature and tears are
mhm,
coming. It seems like this is a story. I don't know, but it seems like when there have been lots of certain kind of suppressed feelings, emotions stuck in the body, and now no one knows how to react, how to be. It's so beautiful. It's so free to just, oh my God, tears can fall and it can be so beautiful. Like the love can be so fucking painful, and that's so beautiful. Like yeah,
yeah.
it's all
And
allowed.
now that it's seen in a impersonal way, even loss, like even loss is beautiful, you
Yeah.
know. Um, my husband, his mother died recently, and I reacted as I normally would. I tried to comfort him. I held space and all of that, and the only thing that was different was I saw the beauty of the contrast of having someone and then not having them. When um, I think before I would have seen it differently, and there there could potentially be, well, you can't see beauty in something like that, not it's not socially acceptable, but that's just what's arising, and it neither should or shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
arise. But old triggers can still pop up here. Sometimes I'll wake up and before a thought even hits me, it's just like pure doom and terror in the body and anxiety. Like everything I've ever worried about just hit me all at once. And of course I can't say why. I mean, but I can notice that it's fascinating that it can just hit you out of nowhere, Um, it doesn't need a belief in it. It does what it wants to do. And then there can be just seeing it, noticing, and um, there can be a compassion for the fragility of humanity and um, yeah, and the beauty is just overwhelmingly it's more prominent now instead of the stories about it, the knowing about it. All that becomes practical and in the background, and
Mm-hmm.
that just the obvious simplicity and innocence is more obvious now. Um, but I like to talk about the vulnerability that can still arise, and it's impersonal. That's the only difference.
Yeah,
Um,
and positions, like many things that there shouldn't be any positions when there is no one. It's no one's position. Position still happens. Judging still happens. Like no one judging, and no one is judging because he's judging
Mhm.
or she's judging.
Exactly. It's so subtle and hard to talk about and so not what I thought it would be. Very nuanced, like uh yeah, judging can arise. But it's no one's. And in that way, it's allowed already.
Mm.
Um, it doesn't mean anything. It never does. Um, and there's a compassion and almost a connection to other people because you see, well, I'm capable of that too, whatever behavior they're doing. Uh, feels more connected as far as with the collective of humanity and uh, falling in love with humanity. Uh, when there's no identification with it, why not, right? Just more naturally appreciate this fascinating animal that we seem to be and its behaviors and
Innocence and vulnerability. I don't know how to say this word.
you said it. You said it
Almost.
correct. Yeah, that's one of my favorite words. And futility. Um, yeah, and compassion. That was the first thing, one of the first things that was obvious to me is that these thoughts and feelings that and the energy of not preferring them, right, that comes up with it. Um, there can be a claiming, or they can arise without a claiming or without a identification, which is just an assumption that's believed, that nobody does. But just seeing both perspectives and seeing this what can arise in an impersonal way, it just felt like compassion automatically. And I'm sure that, like you said, it's not like that for everybody, but um, I'll take compassion over self-loathing any day. Yeah,
You
yeah.
still like to listen non-duality videos? Do you do this?
Yeah, because I'm a nerd about the language and I like to explore different ways of speaking about it.
Mm.
I get inspired by other speakers. Yeah, it's totally different now though, because it's not like a frantic, I'm getting something out of it,
Mm.
there's nothing to get, nowhere to go.
Yeah. Just
It
entertainment,
yeah,
music.
it feels like a celebration, a basking in the resonance.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, like a music, like you said.
Mm. Yeah, I don't listen anymore. I don't know how long time. I'm now listen more carnivore videos. But yeah, so it was a surprise that I found one your video and I was listening it, and from that the impulse arose to bring you my channel to share your energy. And yeah, usually I don't listen, and that one I listened from the beginning to the end, and I wrote something out too. I will share it with
Okay.
listeners, and then we can maybe talk about this. I try to read with my perfect English. Although you are doing the reading so beautiful, like you are fucking rocking
Oh,
like a rock star in a nice way, very smooth way. I really loved how you did the video, also from Ere words, so to speak.
oh, thank you.
But
Yeah, I so enjoyed doing that.
yeah, is it a big work for you? I understand that no one doing it, it happens
Mhm.
effortlessly, and you like to do it, you love to do it, but how long time it takes?
It
Because
usually
for
takes.
me, I imagine that for Era it would take like I don't know too much time because this body can't choose, and then it makes so difficult to get done with that.
Yeah, it takes it depends on exactly what kind of video it is. But it usually takes working on it for a couple of days. Not all day, but just a few hours a day,
Mm,
doing the editing, the recording and stuff.
mm,
I enjoy it. It really does feel like a painting.
mm, mm,
And I remember when I was seeking, and I would hear something just at the right time in the right way. I was ready to hear it. It was ripe, and I would have a glimpse or an insight or whatever you want to call it, and it would just be so inspiring. And of course, after that, we usually just forget and go back into
mm.
the trying to figure it out. But I don't know. I just it's fun to put things out there for people who may resonate, and try to inspire people is what seems to be happening. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I mean, Ere saying these words, Leela is saying these words, and the same words can sound so differently, like different energy. And for some, it prefers this energy, and some other body prefers this energy. And there is no choice. You can't choose who you love, who you hate, who you
Mhm.
like, and who you doesn't. It's just what's happening. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that of course we get often blamed that we just repeat the same words. There are only so limited words that we are using to describe this. But yeah, one day you may hear these words that right now you are hating this repeating the same old words that you have heard so many times. Because yeah, and then there can be idea that I haven't got it yet, and they are saying the same thing, and they think that they have to hear something different to
Mhm.
click. But yeah, nothing leads to this, so
Yeah.
don't bother.
It's innocent chaos. And sometimes you can hear something and go away, hear it again later, years later, and it's completely
Mm,
different.
of course, yeah.
Like with music, a lot of the time I can hear this message in the lyrics now. It's
Mm-hmm.
completely different from before.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the energetic part of this. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, we label it energetic because we don't know what
Mm-hmm.
the hell it is, but
Exactly. That's just a nice word to use for something that you can't know.
Mhm.
Yeah, nameless. But I will read.
Okay.
And the video name was Paradoxical Liberation already, I think. Mhm. It's so very ironic that non-dual pointers can only lead to paradox of the mind. Non-duality cannot be expressed in words, sounds, or symbols. It cannot be given as gift from one to another. These practical limitations of subject and object do not apply to nothing as everything. Non-duality is not a something. This is the magical realm of this and that. When there really are no such things, finite mind can only follow this paradox to the point of cessation. There are no conclusions here, only mystery and wonder. Nowhere to land, nothing to know, only this immediate, obvious simplicity. Very beautiful. This video was full of beautiful expressions, and I loved it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I remember I wanted to talk about this. I was very weary of it because I knew it couldn't be spoken correctly. And I was still trying, there was a part of me that was still trying to say things correctly. So it was a little awkward at first. And then I tried to make it more poetic. It kind of gives you permission to just
Yeah,
talk about it,
play.
right?
Yeah, there are no wrong. It's more like allowed that yeah you can be Picasso and or you can be somebody else, and you paint your picture as you want, as
hmm
this poem with these words to express this.
Yeah, and it was fun to write some pages and then go back and read it, and I was like, wow, where'd that come from?
Exactly.
Um, yeah.
I will read more.
Okay.
uh, Non-duality is impractical and useless. Haha. It doesn't give anyone anything they don't already have. And yet, here we seem to be, as innocent expression of trying to describe the indescribable, or trying to conceptually grasp the ungraspable, or trying to marinate in the energetic resonance of this perceiving fullness. How could anyone perceive everything or nothing? But playfully, this is the game that appears, searching for the only thing there is. How funny. Listen again. searching for the only thing there is. Of course, it's not possible, as the thing that is searching is that which it seeks. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, you read that really well.
I read more.
Okay.
And then, when this me energy falls, it's seen it have never actually been. Another paradox. There was only ever life, never my life, expressing in this timeless immediacy, as the expression of self seems to bleed out into the universe. The psychological structure of a space-time continuum goes with it. The basic instinctual function of navigation of subject and object remains, but as an expression of the all in all. It was always spontaneously arising out of nothing, as nothing. All words become transparent, and the one flavor, yeah, okay, I don't know
Is
what I wrote,
is
is
tasted.
tasted, yeah. All is seen as an empty declaration of being as that which cannot be. The continuum of the personal story is seen to have always been uninhabited. Sorry. How can one get this already isness when there is no one separate to do so? And when all there is this isness. That was my addition.
Yeah,
But
I love
yeah,
that.
guys,
Mhm.
go and check this video. It's I watched it today, and it's quite popular, and no wonder why. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the thumbnail says the mind fuck of non-duality.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Mhm.
catchy.
I thought that would get some attention. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes I'll make a like a clickbaity sort of something that catches the eye. It's fun to make
yeah,
thumbnails.
yeah. I don't know how to do this thumbnails. I am so uh, yeah, not good in IT and doing videos or monetizing this. But
Yeah. Well, I just got enough subscribers to monetize, but I haven't applied for it yet. That's on my list of things to do.
mm,
Uh, it's beautiful, all the different ways we try to, not try to, but how we describe the indescribable, all the different flavors of it. I, I admire most of them, you know. And preferences too can arise still. And I heard a speaker say before, and I don't know who it was. I think it was an old master or something, said that preferences will fall away. And I was like, what? I can't even imagine that, you know. And
maybe personal
yeah,
preferences like this way.
yeah. So I took it and heard it. I just heard it the wrong way, or it wasn't very clear, maybe the way he said it. But preferences can still arise.
Of course.
Of course, they're no ones, right? But
Yeah.
um, that was fun to see.
Yeah. For the me, there are so many expectations how this should be and how this should be then when there is no one, that no one have preferences or no one have feelings, or I have heard many times or read many times, but if I come and punch you into the face, like then there is no one and you don't do anything. I don't
Oh
know,
my
maybe I kill you. I have no idea what I'm going to do when somebody's punching me or trying to
God.
hurt my child. Or of course, body still protects, body still have role of parenting, although there is no one having a child, crazy, no one having a mother, no one having a husband or cats.
Hmm.
But all this seeming relationship, of course, remains and playing these roles happening, and no one
Yeah.
is doing this. Just no one feeling. I suck, I'm a bad parent.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
when teaching something or telling something to my child, there there is just no expectations in this way that she have to follow, she have to do, that she have a free will and choice. No, it's totally free from these kind of expectations that something needs to happen certain kind of
Mm.
way when it seems that there is no one, there is no choice.
Yeah.
And although my daughter is still a me, so to speak,
Mhm.
but even sometimes when I'm speaking about this to her, when she have some kind of problems in school or with boyfriend, and then from this non-duality perspective that there is actually no one, and uh, and explaining that if you could do differently, if you could not feel the pain, if you could stop loving or whatever, you could do it. Yeah, yeah. But I wish I could. But then I say that, yeah, but you can't. You see, there is no one. It's just
Yeah.
what's happening. And that brings some ease to this dreamed character that's believing to be real and believing to have this all this relationship that I also believe that I have husband, that I own husband. And prior to this final death, when there was this process of falling away that I wasn't even aware of, and I wasn't heard this message, I didn't know anything about non-duality. There
Mhm.
was letting go of husband happening
Mm.
energetically, and it was so painful and so freeing, and it was scary because then I felt like, oh, I might lose him now, because it was like, I love you so much that you are free to go and you are free to stay, and this love is so free. And after that it started to bloom instead of yeah, owning
Mhm.
somebody, like this me who feels real wants to own somebody else,
Mhm.
and
Wow.
that's yeah, painful, and
Yeah.
so on.
Mm. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember when I was seeking, I would hear, there's no one here, there's no one here. And then someone would come in and ask a question like, well, like you said, like, well, if somebody punches you in the face, there's going to be somebody here, right? And I was like, yeah, and I didn't really understand. The mind wanted to understand, wanted to reconcile what this, what this means. Um, it's an energetic, if we have to define it and put it in words, we could say it's an energetic expression, innocent, arising out of conditioning for this animal. It's sort of a belief in the regurgitated sounds and symbols that we've been indoctrinated with our whole life. It's
Mm.
just parroting society, you know. And we can see it in such a way, or it can be seen that it's automatic, uh,
Yeah.
and it's just practical. Um, the only time it's valuable is when it's practical, you know. The mind can't understand existential issues. It just can't. It's the wrong tool for the job. Um, and there was never a self. So of course life would go on, right? There may be a little bit of an orienting to not seeing entities when you look in the mirror, when you look at others in the world. But this is life, and it knows what it's doing. It seems to be intelligent. The heart beats, the lungs breathe. Um, we are still cordial, and so we still are socially acceptable. We don't become completely wild beings. Nothing necessarily really changes. I mean, there can be changes here and there depending on the person. Like you said, your business fell away.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you say that on when you were talking to Alexis.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, but when this job is something that you are identifying yourself, So everything this falls away. And yeah, playing whatever games, trying to be something when you are nothing, but just constantly try to fit in, because yeah, you are never enough, and then you're like lost.
Yeah.
And yeah, so here all the playing games stopped. Being
Yeah.
nice ere or kind ere, I was like
Hmm. Hmm.
whatever was rising, authentic, so to speak, and many don't like it. And
Yeah.
but I was done with playing games of trying to be likable.
Yeah. 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 That's happened more here. There seems to be a balance, um, just for this person, between social graces and, not giving a crap. So I used to have social anxiety really, really bad, for most of my life. I was kind of a hermit, and it has lightened up a lot. And there's compassion for the anxieties that may arise, the intense
Yeah,
sensations in the body
yeah,
and
automatically playing out and seeing this, that yeah, it's no one's fault. How the body gets triggered, how patterns are playing out. Like there is some, I don't know, argument with someone, talking, and then just seeing like what the fuck the body is doing. Like before it was like owned, and I did it, and now
yeah,
with partner there is no blaming anymore, because
yeah.
yeah, sometimes it can go also like something old
Hmm.
coming out, and it might not be nice, and but then
Yeah,
it's immediately seen that it's just innocent. No one
yeah,
gets hurt, even if getting hurted or getting insulted, I hope it's right,
yeah, yeah,
is happening. There is no one who is getting insulted.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
not personal. So in a story, Ere could stay in silent mode for days being
mm,
insulted.
yeah.
No,
Oh
now
yeah.
it's just doesn't seem to stick. And once there was, I don't remember what was happening, but pain, this, I don't know, stayed, and it became so beautiful. Like it didn't need to go away, but there was this
Yeah,
thought that, oh, usually nothing sticked anymore here, and now something sticked. And
yeah,
of course it's liberation, it's freedom, it's free to come, it's free to go, it's free to stay. As
yeah.
long as it stays, and when it's seen like this, then it's okay, so to speak, even to
Yeah.
die in your couch, like it seemed to happen before I started this carnivore stuff. It was also
Mhm.
okay. The death is this too, like you said. Your husband mother died, and it can be beautiful, and yeah,
Yeah. Wow, that was beautiful. Yeah, it's very subtle. It's hard to convey to someone, who's looking for an answer, I guess. Um,
solution.
yeah, it is beautiful when you see the emptiness and the meaninglessness, and then it's like things come up to also be seen as empty and meaningless and free and innocent. Um, and it's full on intensity, you know, when a trigger may arise.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Nothing says it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah,
And it's almost intoxicating because it's so intense. And there's no story about it. It's just fully allowed by nobody.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So raw and beautiful.
Hmm. Yeah, as it always was. Mm. Yeah, I had a story that I wanted to be a painter and make a paint, I wanted to be a painter and an artist and make a business out of that one day. And that
Mm.
was a story for a long time. And I always enjoyed making art. And as soon as the seeking fell, that whole thing fell. I
Mm.
was like, I don't want to paint. I
Mm.
want to talk about this.
Mm.
which could change tomorrow. I
Absolutely.
could wake up.
Absolutely. Nothing
Yeah.
solid, nothing fixed. That's constant surprise. This,
Hmm.
yeah, unexpectedness that you
Hmm.
never know what's going to happen.
Hmm.
Mm. So
Yes.
I never can promise anything to anybody. But of course, sometimes I will just for the sake of this dream. But
Mm.
inside, this one never knows if it can fill the promise because I really don't
Mm.
know
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
going to happen. Yeah.
And exactly. It does feel like a surprise. It absolutely is spontaneous. And the body can say, I'll do this, I'm gonna do that. And then
And then it deletes in the
the
background.
mind
It's
will,
deleting.
yeah, the mind will have plans and the body
Yeah.
will just ignore it and go do something else, all the time. So they're not necessarily correlated,
Mhm.
the two. They're not
Mhm. Yeah.
always together on that, and that's fascinating. Uh, yeah, and there can be, for me, I forget a lot of stuff for here, and I think it's just because interest is different now. The interests have shifted, so there's a natural just throwing away of things more and more, and not logging it as, oh, I need to remember that, or
Yeah.
so people say things, and I'm like, what?
Mhm.
When did that happen? Because it, it it was automatically not important. So
Mhm.
uh, I don't know if you experienced that, but
Yeah, yeah, constantly. Like, and I noticed already long time ago. I don't know if how much here was the sense of me. This one never felt like it's growing or getting older. And when being
Mhm.
with others who were sharing their stories, then there was no interest. That me
Yeah,
needs to share the stories, me needs to be heard, to be seen that I am real and my story is real. But
yeah,
yeah, for that reason, I wasn't so interesting for girlfriends, so to speak.
yeah,
And yeah, and at one point I just stopped playing the games also. So now my friend is my husband and my cats
yeah,
and few more with who I sometimes can express this too because I
mhm.
can't stop this mouth when this mouth is
Yeah,
speaking. And
yeah.
when there is too much, I don't know, spiritual stuff coming out from friends, because prior to that we smoothly went to the spiritual world and had spiritual friends, and
Hmm.
only few are left, and they have also a little bit changed and not so
Hmm.
anymore. But yeah, if I can't be myself, so to speak, express myself freely, then we don't have nothing to talk about. Like yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I said that earlier. Um, yeah, it's there's a beautiful negation that can happen where you say, okay, that's not it, that's not it, that's not it. And it's beautiful to practice to sort of lean into the emptiness and try to resonate with that as an expression. Um, but words are still here. They still express. I'm not going to stop talking because words are meaningless, apparently. So,
You are not speaking. This
right, right.
speaks itself. Yeah, no choice. I also like it have been like background that it is absolutely empty. It is absolutely pointless and meaningless. Why the hell I'm still speaking about this? Just for the sake of entertaining, or who likes to listen this. I have no idea who likes to listen this
Yeah.
because it is absolutely useless, and
Hmm.
mostly if you're listening this, if you're going to the meetings and so on, then there is this need or want to get something
Yeah,
out of it for me.
absolutely.
Yeah, and it's innocent, it's just what's happening. And
Mhm.
I don't want to feed this energy, and at the same time I love to share this,
Mhm.
and that's why it sounds repeated. believe that when you're like saying
Repetitive?
yeah, yes, yes,
Okay.
uh, that there is nothing to get. This is pointless. This is meaningless, and then you get the same comments like, "Why the hell you are speaking like all the time, same shit, different day."
Yeah.
But yeah, um, I like to
Yeah,
write about this too.
yeah, there'll always be haters out there. Haters are free to arise.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, it really does feel like a game. It feels fun, like a celebration.
Yeah.
Um, it kind of feels like telling a joke. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have the beginning, the middle, and the
Mm-hmm.
punchline, you know, and you can't skip to the end and still laugh at the joke. You kind of have to have the middle part too,
Mm-hmm.
as far as process goes, but
Mm-hmm.
which is already whole, but
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, it feels more like a celebration than anything. There's no need, no lack, no ignorance, um, nowhere to go, uh, and yet here we are, on
Yeah.
this apparent journey.
Yeah. That's fullness. The seeking is fullness too.
Mhm.
Trying to understand this, uh, not liking this. Everything is this fullness as the one who is speaking about this, and yeah. So no escape from this appearance of I don't know,
Yeah, I love that.
mystery called life.
Yeah, that's all there is.
Just a dance, just wind blowing,
Yeah.
birds singing, nothing
Miracle of
happens.
being.
Yeah, and no one to be, just beingness.
Mhm. Wow. And gratefulness can arise.
Yeah, and goosebumps, and
Yeah.
tears, and love, and heartache,
Yeah, all of it. Wow.
total vulnerability,
Huh?
total vulnerability.
Yes.
I struggle with that word.
You said it good. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll always use that word as long as I'm talking about this. Um,
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a good word. I love this word, but just I always feel like there is some.
Hmm.
I'm not able to say it right way.
Oh, I love the way you
Oh.
talk. I say that a lot. Hmm.
Okay, Leela. Leela.
Thank you
Um,
so much for inviting me, Ere,
yeah,
and oh, wow, it was amazing meeting you. Mm.
same.
Basking together.
Yeah, yeah. And we have never talked. This was the first talk. Maybe there
Mhm.
will come another one. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah, who
But
knows?
anyway, yeah. So thank you very much, and yeah, let's keep in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Text me anytime.
Yeah, much
Thank
love.
you. You too.
Bye
Mm.
bye.